Hey guys, be sure to check out the Mortar Pod, our weekly video podcast, and also check out the tutorial video for my board game, Travelers of Storia. Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we're doing another Khans of Tarkir Swiss draft. Rare is Mineswipe. I don't think that's the pick. So really it's Pinewalker, which is just a fantastic morph card. Aerostorm, which is a nice removal or finisher card. I'm a big fan of Aerostorm. I might pick it over the Pinewalker, though that's a good argument as to what's better. I think the main reason I want to take Aerostorm is I prefer aggressive decks like Mardu Warriors or just Sky or something like that. Neither of those include green. But I mean, Pinewalker is a great card. I think I'm probably going to take the Aerostorm over it, despite, like I said, Pinewalker probably being better. Just a preferential thing. I prefer aggressive decks, like I said, and that's just most formats in general. But I just like that Aerostorm can go to the face and do all sorts of work. Okay, well, Nomad Outpost is some great fixing if I want to do Mardu, but Kill Shot, also very good removal. Problem with Kill Shot is it's not good. It's not like it's bad, but it's not good in Mardu. It's not, you know what I mean? If you're aggressive Mardu, you don't want to be... They basically are on the defensive, so cards like Kill Shot are typically better for survival decks that really shine in the mid to late game. So I think we're probably just going to take the Nomad Outpost. There's nothing else crazy good in here. And then maybe that pushes us into the Mardu, aggressive Mardu deck that I want to play anyway. I mean, I don't have to force it necessarily, but I would like to make it work. Frontier Bivouac could move me into Teamer territory. To be honest, there's nothing like crazy good in here. Another Kill Shot. Could just take the Bring Low. Not a huge fan of that card. Bivouac's probably a much better pick. But it's a bit awkward if I'm going to take a slower deck to be passing all this good removal, like double Kill Shot, stuff like that. I prefer aggressive decks, like I said, so it's kind of making me just want to take the Bring Low to get some more removal. So I think I'm going to do that, even though Bivouac is probably a much better card. All right, so now we actually get some good choices here. Timely Horde Mate's a great card. Einak Bonkin, also very good. And then Wright and Krumar Bonkin are fine too. I think we'll take the Horde Mate. I do like this card. You get some good raid value out of that. Yeah, not much else to say about it. I think that's cool. I like the 2-drops typically more, but I think the potential value you get out of Horde Mate. I mean, then again, I might just want as many cheap things. Usually 4-drops, not that difficult to get. I think in general, Horde Mate's a better card than Bonkin, but if I'm trying to be aggressive, I really do need to make sure I can get as many 2-drops as possible. This is difficult. I think I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go with the Bonkin, even though I think Horde Mate's a better card. I just want to make sure if I'm playing aggressive Mardu, I've got a lot of raid enablers, and I just need a bunch of cheap creatures, basically. All right, like here, it's a pretty easy Horde Ambusher. I like this card in aggressive decks. That's where it's going to shine, and we've already got a couple red cards to unmorph it with. Otherwise, Disowned Ancestor is a warrior, which is good with the Warrior Lords, but we don't have any of those currently, so let's just take the Horde Ambusher. Another 2-drop, very good. All right, Watcher of the Roost is a great card. I think I'm going to take it over the Active Treason just because it evades. The life gain is, you know, it's nice, but I'm pretty sure it's just because it's flying that this card's actually good. So I'm going to take that over the Active Treason, even though I do like Active Treason quite a bit. I'd rather have the Flyer. Okay, Trumpet Blast is an option. Defiant Strike is good if I end up with any prowess. I think Trumpet Blast has much more potential in Mardu if we can pick up some Ponyback Brigades, or that 5-drop card that gives you 3 warriors, something like that's going to work really well with the Trumpet Blast. So I'll go ahead and pick that. All right, here's a nice 2-drop for us. War Name Aspirant gives us a little raid, a little more early aggression. It's a nice card to table. Actually, I just like that card. Wow, 2 of them? All right. Very good. So getting some nice cheap warrior creatures. These actually have nice bonuses to them, like War Name Aspirant gets by Disowned Ancestors and stuff like that. Very good. I like it. Uh, this is too expensive. This can fix for us. I think I'm actually going to take the Barrage of Boulders, which is a pretty reasonable sideboard card against token-based decks, stuff like that. I'm cool with that. Tracker versus Siegecraft. Shambling Attendant's too expensive, I think. We don't have any black cards currently, so that's interesting. I guess we theoretically could be Jeskai still, which is probably fine, even though we have the fixing for Mardu. Let's take the Tracker. It just seems like all the black cards we were getting passed out of there were for delve decks and not really for aggressive decks. But we've still got 2 packs left to sort of fill the rest out there. So far, I'm happy with pack 1 though. This is a nice base to an aggressive build. And like I said, if you haven't seen the previous drafts, my theory is sort of that the 2-drop creatures are super powered in this format because typically people aren't doing something until turn 3 where they're going to play a morph spell. So you usually get a couple attacks in with your 2-drops, which is very good. I don't even think I'm going to play. I'm likely not playing Howl of the Horde, so Shatter may have been a better sideboard option, but I'm still kind of intrigued by this card since it's got Raid, and if I could get some cheap burn, maybe. I don't know. I think the problem is there's not a lot of cheap burn that's super good in this format. All right. Cranial Archive. I guess it cantrips at worst, right? Okay. So, good pack 1. Really only solidified into red. I'd like to play Mardu and get those lords, but we'll see if that happens. Since I'm so red, the lords are getting more and more awkward. I think Take Up Arms is probably the pick for us. I'd like Feet of Resistance a lot, but Take Up Arms is going to work better with our Trumpet Blast and just gives you a lot of warrior creatures, which is nice. Feet of Resistance, Feet of Resistance is a very strong card, though, so I might just want to take that. I think the reason that Feet's going to be better than usual in this deck is the fact that I've just got so many 2-drop creatures. So basically, their 2-drop creatures, I'd be willing to bust a Feet of Resistance to get a better beater out there and kill their defender. Otherwise, just protecting my guy, any of my evasive guys and making them bigger is also very good. But I think I am going to go for the sort of more combo-ish Trumpet Blasty Take Up Arms thing. So let's do that. As much as I like Feet, I don't really have too many creatures I want to protect with it. All of my creatures are kind of expendable. I think that's why it's a little more attractive of a pick. Another kill shot, geez. I think we're going to take the Debilitating Injury here, despite not having much black yet. I just like that Debilitating Injury pretty much does exactly what I want, which is kill guys really fast. Kill morph guys super fast. Merek Nightblade is also very good, though. It's not the most efficient beater, but it does tend to work really well with the Anak Bondkin. But I think we're less of that sort of synergy based and much more just play cheap creatures and then kill their blockers. I'd rather be that deck. I'd rather be the play 2-drop creature, kill your 3 and 4-drop creatures and just win that way. So I'm a little tempted to take the Debilitating Injury here, which is just a fantastic removal spell in this format. Much better than Bring Low. Alright, I'm going to take the Injury, and then that begins our journey into black. Okay, War Shrieker versus Horde Chief here. I think Horde Chief's going to work better with our Trumpet Blast, but War Shrieker is not to be overlooked. Take Up Arms is also very good, but I think I'd rather have the Horde Chief here to fill out our curve a little bit better and get 2 creatures for 3 rather than 3 creatures for 5. I'd like to table Take Up Arms or War Shrieker, but we'll see if that happens. I'm not entirely convinced that'll happen. Alright, Rakshas's Secret is, fine. Another kill shot? Jeez. Like I said, kill shot's really not what our deck wants to do. Dead Drop, at least it's not amazing against this since we have tokens, so there's a chance. I think we just take the Bloodfell Caves here. There's really nothing else. Rakshas's Secret's playable, but I'd rather have the Bloodfell Caves get our fixing going. Jeez. Alright, Leaping Master seems legitimate. Actually, Just Sky Student seems very good too. Just Sky Student is going to be really good with Trumpet Blast. Bring Low, okay. This has Evasion though. Mardu Hateblade is also very good. Just really good picks in general around here. I think actually we may just want the 1-drop. We have the double 2-drop raid guy, so having 1-drop creatures, especially one with Death Touch that we could potentially use, I think is better. I think I'm going to take the Hateblade. Death Touch in this format seems to be much better than it was in other formats. A lot of time Hateblade just swings in and kills something. I think mostly because I have the double or triple raid guys already, I'm just a little more interested in the Hateblade. But any of those creatures would have made me happy for sure. All right, Hordeling Outburst seems correct. Rite of the Serpent is good removal, but I like the Outburst a little bit more with our Trumpet Blast. And here's another Trumpet Blast too. I think last time I made the Trumpet Blast deck, I just played too many Trumpet Blasts. But if I have a Hordeling Outburst, Take Up Arms, Horde Chief, I'm ending up with a good number of dudes that interact positively with it. So I think this is going to be good. All right, Ponyback Brigade is just a fantastic pickup for us here. It's exactly what this deck wants. So getting some more tokens, very good. I'd like a little Lord effect. It would be nice if I could get Raider Spoils or something like that. It'd fill out our curve and really reward us for all of these token spells. I'm fine with Canyon Lurkers. It's not a fantastic spell by any stretch of the imagination, but I've gotten in for 5 with it before, so it's certainly playable. Bondkin, once again, it's probably playable. Not amazing, but filling out our deck a little bit. I don't think we're going to play Siegecraft, so we can sideboard another Barrage of Boulders, but is that even that good? It's probably okay. Let's just take it anyway. Okay, so Tracker versus Dragon Grip. I actually think Dragon Grip's a pretty reasonable spell, but I'm not sure if it's exactly what this deck wants. Then again, I don't really know if we need Tracker. We've already kind of hit our limit on morph guys with 5 that unmorph that I'm interested in. So let's just take the Dragon Grip. It's right, Cavalry, get another 1-drop that turns on our raid guys. Not a huge fan of that card in general, but I'm willing to check it out. Actually, Defiant Strike might make the deck. So far, we've got the token generators. The only thing we're missing is maybe one more Trumpet Blast or a Raider Spoils to really help make this deck be exactly what we want it to be. All right, I'm a big Valley Dasher fan. It's also Feat of Resistance. Scoured Barons rather might be just what we want because it helps us fix. And we're currently already rocking 21 cards, so we're close to a deck already. I think that means take the fixing. As much as I'd like the Valley Dasher, which is actually a good card in this format, and the Feat, I'm just going to take the Scoured Barons, get some fixing going for us. Rite of the Serpent is probably fine. Nothing else super good for us here, unfortunately. But Rite is playable. It's expensive, but it does deal with anything, so I think that's okay. I guess we'll take it. Okay, so we can take another Bondkin, which is probably fine. Briber's Purse, which is playable, but I'm kind of on the hunt for a little bit more cheap creatures, basically. Bloodfire Expert's also pretty good. I think I want to go with Bondkin number 2. I just really like to get as many 2-drop creatures as possible when I'm trying to be aggressive, so I think I'm going to take the Bondkin over the Throttle, which is pretty good, but what's our removal looking like right now? Debilitating Injury, Bring Low, Aerostorm, right. Yeah, I guess we're okay on the removal front. Let's up our creature count and get some more cheap ones. Just the fact that these can potentially get first strike is kind of nice too, but they turn on raid a little more, cost effectively than Bloodfire Expert does, so let's take the Bondkin. All right. I think we're just taking Barons number 2. I do like Sultai Scavenger quite a bit, but I'm kind of on the hunt for a little bit more fixing. I also like Smite the Monstrous quite a bit, but I think I'm just going to take Scoured Barrens. We're kind of close to a deck already, so getting all the fixing is nice. All right, so the Lord is pretty good. How many warriors did we end up getting? Yeah, one. That guy's not. This guy's not. These guys are. That guy's not. This makes warriors too, though. That's definitely warriors. This guy's a warrior, but his guys aren't. I mean, we're kind of a mix. This guy's a warrior. I do like the Lord effect. Mardu Rough Rider is also insane. Trumpet Blast number 2 might actually have to get the go-ahead at this point because we've got the tokens. With the fact that we've got Horde Chief, Hordeling Outburst, Ponyback Brigade, and Take Up Arms, I think I'm going to take the Trumpet Blast. As much as I want the... I mean, maybe we get a Trumpet Blast, actually. I'm going to take the Lord on the hopes that we get another Trumpet Blast. All right, well, Ponyback Brigade number 2, I'm going to take that over the Act of Treason. Ponyback Brigade, just a little bit too good. If we don't get a second Trumpet Blast, I mean, I'm a little bit bummed, but I'm not that bummed that I ended up with a Warrior Lord anyway. So, it's not like another Lord? All right, love it. Happily taking a second Warrior Lord. They're 2-drop creatures at worst. They're a little bit more difficult to cast, but we've got some actual solid fixing going right now. War Behemoth seems unnecessary. So does Tormenting Voice, I guess, but I like, increasing my card quality and draws and stuff like that. All right, Unyielding Krumar actually seems very good for this deck since it fills out our curve nicely, gives us another warrior, and potential first strike is actually pretty good. So Swift Kick versus Bondkin. I mean, Bondkin's a warrior, but Swift Kick is removal, but it's not even that good for us. I guess we take the Bondkin. Briber's Purse, that's great. Okay, I think we're actually pretty sure we're playing Briber's Purse in this deck. We've definitely got enough aggression to do it. We'll take the Erase for sideboard. So I don't know if we're going to table a Trumpet Blast, unfortunately. But like I said, I'm still pretty happy I got the Chief of the Edge. This guy's a 2-drop, 3-power dude. That is pretty tough for some decks. Neither of these cards really matter. I do think we were pretty much competing we were definitely competing with Mardu, I think. But, well, got a Swift Kick anyway. But, like I said, I'm still pretty happy with our deck. Like, we don't have to play the Cavalry. That's not that good. I am going to play the Briber's Purse. We ended up with a lot of creatures, which is good. So it's really like, just got to choose what we think is worthwhile and what we think is not. A little bit unfortunate, like I said, we didn't get the second Trumpet Blast since this deck would have rewarded us quite a bit for that. But just getting a bunch of beaters and having a finisher with Trumpet Blast is probably pretty good. So I just need to figure out what I'm cutting. Why don't we separate stuff real quick? Set our stuff in the sideboard. Let me make this a little bit smaller so I can see it easier. Okay, so I have to make 5 cuts. This is likely a 4-drop most of the time. These guys. I think I'm cutting the Canyon Lurkers because they're not a warrior, likely. This thing's actually a creature. Probably cutting the Tracker too. This is a creature. Alright. Rite of the Serpent's going to be pretty difficult to cast in here, I think. Keep in mind the Bondkins are morphable for 1 black, so... well, but then again, I guess I need black early anyway. Yeah, I mean... we'll figure this out. I think the Defiant Strike's going to go. It's not that it's bad, it's just probably don't need it. I think the Grip could go. We don't have a ton of means for Ferocious. Summit Prowler, and that's about it. Bondkins, I guess. I think I said the Lurkers are going to go. I'm still thinking that's probably right. We didn't get any Valley Dashers, which kind of sucks, but that's alright. They would have been just nice to get some more 2-drops, but I like having all these Warrior Lords, and we ended up with quite a few Warriors, actually. Let me do the final count on that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a lot, actually. That is just a lot of warriors, so that's good. The only thing we have to worry about is our mana base, but hopefully we can get that all squared away. I can probably cut the Dragon Grip. I don't think we need it. I think I'd rather have the removal spells. I mean, Rite of the Serpent's going to be a little more difficult to cast in here, but I might still want it. Then again, maybe I just want to focus on our cheap spells, cheaper spells rather. Two more cuts. I mean, theoretically, maybe I cut the tracker. It's not all that great. We still have 18 creatures, keep in mind, because Outburst and Take Up Arms are certainly creature spells. So cutting creatures here is not a big deal. Our spells are a little bit color intensive. So I guess I wish I'd gotten a bit more fixing, but just need to make one more cut. I think it's probably a creature. I think the Rite of the Serpent's probably good enough where we want to keep it, even though it's expensive. Maybe one of the Bondkins, but it is a warrior. But I'd rather have the evasion. Outburst is, I still think, pretty good, even though it's color intensive. It's probably, because of the Trumpet Blast, probably pretty good. Alright, let's cut one Bondkin. They're not that great anyway, so that's not a huge deal. I could cut the Summit Prowler instead. Maybe that's better. The only reason is it's not a warrior. And Bondkin can still trade with some big things. We've got 2 lords for warriors, so I think it kind of makes sense. It's not as color intensive. It can at least, play it as a Grey Ogre. Or more likely you do play it as a Grey Ogre and then later, it shines a little bit more. Alright, I think we're going to run it like this. So let's take a look. Sort by color. Let's combine the groups. Geez. Let's get in our fixing. We already have 4 sources of black, which is pretty good since that's our... Well, I was going to say our splash color, but that's not even true. I think we're just a really healthy mix of the 3 colors, which is a little bit scary, actually, when you're trying to be aggressive. So I think this deck's likely to have mana issues, even with the 4 pieces of fixing we have. But that's all right. That's okay. We have 3 sources of white. We have 2 sources of red, 4 sources of black already. So let me figure this out. They say, so this would be 8 sources of white, 8 sources of black, 6 sources of red. I think we got to alter that. I think we probably lower each one and then up this. And then let's see, this is 8 sources of red, 7 sources of black, 7 sources of white. I mean, we do need the double red for Aerostorm and Hordling Outburst, but then again, we need the early black and white for Chief of the Edge. Yeah, this deck's color intensive, unfortunately. I think we opt for an extra white. So it's 8 sources of white, 7 sources of black, and 7 sources of red. Jeez. I think this is as best we're going to do. Alright, I think this deck's going to have mana issues, unfortunately. Color issues, rather. Which sucks, but that's okay. I mean, we've got powerful cards, and we're keeping busy if we see our mana. We really are keeping busy early, which is nice, but we'll see if we have the mana issues. Let's hope they accept our deck. Good. Submission worked, and we're going to run it like this. I anticipate having some mana issues, but that's okay. Let's try the best we can.